So what's up guys? As you can see, I'm back on my Windows because for some reason it started working, so I would prefer it to Ubuntu just because of video editing after recording. So let us continue. So in this video, as I said in the previous video, we'll be building our React application using the queries and the mutations that we've been creating in the previous videos. So let's get into it. Checking the what we've been doing previously. This application is just, so it's not in any way configured to work with only vue.js, so it can work with any front-end framework you love, like Angular. So if your preferred framework uses GraphQL, then from here you can just decide to use it. But for this series, as I said, and by the title of the playlist, it's for vue.js and Django. So let's get into it. I cloned the application that was in my GitHub. So if you want the application, then go to GitHub to do back. So this is the back end. So I'll also update the front end, which will be over here. So let's go to desktop. I guess I named to do's, and then over to do here I want to create front end over here. Just open cmd over here, and just I hope you know how to install view and such, because I will not be covering any of those. So just do view and then create, then just to do front. Okay, so you see I'm using, so I'll not go with the default because I want routing, so I'll go with manual, then just choose that I want these. I don't want vuex, so if you are using vuex then you can go with it, but for me that is everything I want because I only wanted total in this app. Then I will go with 2, require proper server setup for index callback, just go yes, and then just go with default. I prefer these. No, I don't want these. Just create the app. So it will start creating the application, and this might take some time. So please wait and be patient. So after installation has been done, I opened the project. So you see installation was done. So I opened the project inside VS Code. So this is the editor I'll be using to code my front end, and I use Sublime for my back end. Though I don't know, I'm not sure if I'll be doing a lot of modifications there, but let's just leave it open. So let's CLS, and then I did server. Sorry, making a lot of mistakes. So I will not cover introduction to Vue just the same way I did not cover introduction to Django. So you at least need to know the basics of these languages, or at least be good in them, because I may even just cover some things as if you are a pro. So this is in fact an advanced, because by the time you're doing this, it means you really just have understood everything in both of these languages. So inside here I have a file that I want to just use to make some few things, because okay, let me just open here, because we want to install some few modules. First is to configure the application for GraphQL. So here you see I have this code. Actually, I will just include in my readme for this front end. Let me just do it right now. So npm install, just I think I did the wrong thing at the wrong time. So this is npm install, and then just do this. So that is it. So for npm install, you install these. So this will install the modules as you can see over here listed. So let me run it now. and wait, be patient. That is the process of setting up application. But as it installs, let us test some few things. So let me just close this. So I want to show you. So if you see in this file, I have some code over here. So I will paste it. So let me know before I paste it in your SRC here. So SRC, create an application called, create a file called Apollo client. .js. So this is basically where we are setting our client. So you could just name it anything, but I prefer Apollo client, just naming files with what they do. Then just this is the code I will add over here. Then I'll show you. So you see, I imported some few things which are being installed there right now, and Vue, which was installed during the creating of the project. And then I don't need these. Sorry, I did put that. So we have router, which again I don't need over here. So you see here we imported Vue, we imported Apollo client, and all these are being installed right now as we talk down there. And then we will see we registered Vue Apollo in our component, which is our main app. And then we made a function called headers, which is an arrow function. So this arrow function will just be setting headers for our requests. So it's setting headers for our request, so that it has a token which will be added not here. So it's this one web token. So our header is denoted with JWT instead of bearer or token or any other thing. It's JWT because that is what our Django application expects. So if you know you're using bearer, then you could place it over here just the same way. And then you see it's expecting a token, which as of now it's in local storage, which we know we've not stored anything in our local storage, but at least we know that we will need to store our token in the local storage so that we can use it. So that is one thing that we'll accomplish after we start building. And then you see we have registering of the URL, which is we register a URL and it expects us to pass in here a URL. So as of now I don't have this URL, but I'll show you how we can add it. And then we have this client, and then we finally registered this, and then we exported. So this provider, we need to import it in our main.js. Now we can say import, because we are exporting it as main, then we just do then Apollo client. I hope that, and then just add it over here, and that is fine. Now there are two things we need to set. If you see over here, we want at least to be able to switch between production and client and development automatically without just doing this every time you want to deploy and doing back whenever you are developing. So that is where I normally do. So there is a convention I don't know if people use, but I know I use. So I normally go to my settings file, to my, not my views, my SRC, which is the base directory for working in JavaScript applications like React and Vue. Then I just create a file called settings.js. So in this settings.js, I normally put some few codes which I think were over here. So this is the starting block for my settings file. So this defines the debug to be false by default. That means that by default the production environment is production. And then we come and check if the location, if the host name of our current server is localhost. If it's localhost, that means that we are on local machine, and so we are developing. So we set the debug to be true. So, and when debug is true, then there are some few things we need to add. You see over here in Apollo client, we are expected to pass URL. So here we could just say backend URL, but since this variable is not defined, we need to define it. So let's go import it from the settings, and then we will not be exporting it alone, so at least we know it will not be .js. We don't need first.js by default, it not JS. Then just come over here, and then you can just say this one is equals to debug. If by default when it's true, then pass your production domain over there, and then you can say if debug, then this has to be let because we need to define the variable, or else it will just complain. Then if it's localhost, then we know that we need to pass our URL over here, and the URL is simply this URL. So copy that URL and just paste it over here. So that is our development HTTP. So again, we need to export them. Now export, since we are not exporting only one thing, we are exporting debug and also backend URL. So this debug, some people are wondering why I had to export it. It's because I also want to toggle between production environment and development environment over here. So import. So guys, if you are new to Vue and just decided to go with me even though I might be doing some things not considering you, just know that Vue will complain whenever you import something you're not using. So just always take care of that. Now we are importing from settings. Now let me hope our installation finished. Yeah, it finished. So just cls and then npm run serve. I hope we get no errors. Okay, I know there's an error here already. I forgot this comma. Hopefully you do not see that. Okay. Here has to be settings. Getting this error, why? Is there something I'm forgetting? I'm doing wrong. View, then header all the way to there. This all the way to there. This, okay. I never closed this. Here. CLS, I'm used to Linux, man. So guys will forgive me. Okay, now the server is running. Now let's go and check out. So it's 127.80. So okay, God, I'm really doing magic. So now you see the application is running, so that is why we are getting this welcome page. So that means that our setting is done. So in the next video we'll start building on our Vue application, and I might just run through the design things because that is not Vue. So guys, if you know how to design application in Vue, then go, but I might just show, but I'll be just running through maybe after designing them prior to that. So guys, if you like these videos, please don't forget to subscribe, because as you can see, my subscribers are really very, I cannot say. So guys, goodbye.